Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to another video with your host SpoonyPizzas. Hope you're all doing very well. We've had some new information that Master League will be released as download content and graphics will be scalable to each of the different platforms. So expect the next gen consoles to look the best, but certainly not what I called next gen. In this video we'll be checking out your feedback, but I've also had 48 hours to digest everything. I just want to share my feelings. Considering I'm a glass half full kind of guy who likes to try and see the positives in everything in life, I was ultimately left disappointed since the trailer dropped. Prior to playing the trailer for the very first time, I was so hyped. So what exactly happened? Well, first off, in my opinion, this trailer is the worst PES trailer ever. I hated the voiceover, I hated the music, I hated the presentation, the style, the design, the brand colors, the terrible in-game clips. Heck, the only normal camera clip they showed was the team kicking off. Not a shot, not a goal, not anything remotely exciting, just a freaking kickoff. They even managed to forget to add Master League on the roadmap, making everyone think it was either my club or nothing at all. All this trailer did for Konami was turn an entire fanbase against them. I mean, whoever pulled this montage together should no longer have a job. It's like Whedon's just left through the door and they're like, oh, who can video edit? Okay, well, we'll just ask the tea lady, shall we? You know, it's absolutely disgraceful. So these last 2 days, I have been asking myself, why am I so disappointed? At the end of the day, it's just a trailer, and for me personally, I don't normally care about trailers. I don't get hyped or disappointed. You know, I tend to wait until the controller's in my hand. And obviously we've had some fairly positive news recently that Master League is now going to be included and the graphics will scale based on the platform that we're playing on. So what exactly is wrong? Well, for me personally, I couldn't care less about the graphics, the clipping, the skating animations. I grew up in an era where gameplay comes first, and yes, I should set my expectations higher, but as soon as I heard it was on the Unreal 4 engine and Unreal 5 wasn't going to be ready in time, I just knew I wasn't going to be amazed, as I've seen the best what the Unreal 4 engine has to offer in many games. And while some look great, it's not true next gen tech. But for Konami to claim photorealism on the Unreal 4 engine is just simply going to bite them in the ass. So if it wasn't the graphics that disappointed me, what was it? It was actually the cross-platform ideology. The second I saw it, the penny dropped, and it kind of explained why the new football game open beta had such dumbed down controls. And all this trailer did was just remind me of my experience with new football game open beta and how that game felt, and it wasn't pleasant. You know, if I had to score that game out of 100, I'd probably give it somewhere between 55 and 65%, and that's me being really generous. You can check out my review, but the key bad points for me were the delayed actions for shooting, goalkeepers being superhuman, obviously the dumbed down controls, which I've already covered. You know, I think the biggest omission there was, you know, no right stick player select, and also a camera that just zoomed in and out at exactly the wrong times. You know, I actually went back and watched my review and sort of compared it to some of the gameplay clips that I saw in the trailer. Now, the graphics aren't great. They're certainly not next gen and they're certainly not photorealistic, but they weren't terrible either. And the trailer graphics are a slight step up from what we saw in the new football game. So hopefully, you know, with a bit more polish that can be added before the final release, it may sort of alleviate some of those concerns, but don't expect next gen. That's all I'm saying. So, you know, there have been some other noticeable changes as well that I noticed. The jockey button, you know, players would move sideways so slowly in that new football game open beta, basically rendering it useless. But I noticed in the trailer, there's a clip of PK jockeying sideways, and he's moving at the same speed as the player with the ball at his feet whilst he's walking. And also, obviously, the cursor is no longer under the player's feet. This has been converted to the usual triangles we're used to seeing. In the new football game open beta, they did say gameplay is subject to change and balance. And I'll be honest, they've got a long way to go to make this a decent football game. But it's not beyond the realms of impossible. Whilst I'm not a programmer and have zero programming knowledge, surely the mobile version can't handle the same number of animations as perhaps a PlayStation 5. So not only are the controls going to be awkward to cater to the mobile game, there will be less animations in the full game on the likes of the PS5, for example. The only thing I think they could do is similar to Call of Duty Warzone, where they have extra files available for the different modes, meaning Master League would be able to include extra animations with a, let's say 3 GB download, but I highly doubt that's actually going to happen. The trailer just didn't do the game any favours at all, and the state of the gameplay in the new football game open beta still leaves me with absolutely no expectation. You know, I know that game is subject to gameplay changes, but it will take Konami a mammoth effort to dig this one out from the depths of the abyss. This is simply a next-gen flop in the making. In fact, I can't really call it next-gen because it's not going to be next-gen. This kind of reminds me of the PES 2014, and this is why I was so skeptical about the switch to the Unreal Engine. You know, I think it could honestly take 2 years before we find or see anything remotely worth playing. I hope I'm wrong, but I will give it a playthrough. You know, no trailer is going to prevent me from giving the game a try. But, like I said, my expectations are next to nothing. It's been really interesting to hear your feedback, actually. In recent polls that I put out, 56% of you said rest in peace to eFootball, whilst only 8% in total have high expectations or are hyped for its release. 24%, myself included, are going to wait to see how it plays. 35% of you disliked it because of the graphics, whilst 22%, myself included, said it was mainly due to the experience of the new football game open beta. So I did ask you to comment and leave some feedback on what you thought about the trailer and your impressions, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who responded. There were simply so many that I couldn't include you all, but I'm just going to pick out some of the ones that really stood out for me. Django Pez said, aside from it being cross-platform with mobile, and aside from all the ice skating in the gameplay snippets, the thing that most annoyed me is the stated focus on one-on-one as the essence of football, or words to that effect. And in the IGN interview, it's even clearer. They say they are focusing on player versus player, not player versus computer. Even if the Master League and Career Mode equivalent is a later download content, it's clear the AI is the last priority. I have to agree. The AI definitely seems like an afterthought. The same with Master League and Career Mode. It's like, oh yeah, we better add in the Master League, otherwise people aren't going to be happy. Rashad added, he's very saddened. He's played Winning 11-9 and Pro Evolution Soccer 14, 19 and 21. The name was a brand with better gameplay than FIFA. The game feels like it's designed to be a TikTok trend. Very disappointed, man. The trailer was horrendous with that annoying music. Hard to disagree, to be honest. SB went on to say, I cannot believe Konami downgraded their graphics and gameplay to cater to mobile gamers. Obviously, the graphics are going to be scaled, but I don't think it's going to be much better. I think what you're seeing on screen right now is the actual PlayStation 5, which it's pretty underwhelming, isn't it, really? Darzo XX angrily said, trust Konami to get the opportunity to make a next-gen game, but end up going backwards. PES is finished, not only in name. Yeah, it's a pretty damning statement there from Darzo. Christopher Conway didn't hold back. He said, it looks horrendous, Spoony. Doesn't look next-gen in the slightest. Touches look clumsy. Defending looks shocking. 2 years for this. I still can't get my head around all of this. Yeah, the defending was awful, wasn't it? Like a slight move and literally the defender goes flying off into the ad boards. It's wow. I just hope they're not locked into these animations, otherwise it's just going to be shocking. Ryan Seymour, fearing for the future of PES / eFootball, had this to say, yikes, this could be the death of PES as we know it. Another back to the drawing rebuild that will take years, with most fans draining away in the meantime. Yeah, I can definitely see a lot of players leaving PES, maybe going to FIFA, especially with what FIFA's 22 is doing. But I think, on the other hand, that the mobile player base could increase because they're going to look at it and think, look at this engine. This is the same engine they're using on consoles, the next gen consoles at that as well. So it could be a bit of a swing if that makes sense. So obviously the console player base going down, but the mobile player base going up. Reese Cox brings up the elephant in the room, photorealism. All this talk about photorealism and they forget shadows, ambient occlusion. With a face palm. Absolutely, my word. Embarrassing. And then the King of Pez absolutely nails it, saying, "Rest in peace, Pez," and he's heartbroken. And I think that is a great way to sort of round off the community feedback, because I think that's how everyone is feeling right now. This trailer has had the biggest impact in the worst possible way for Konami, and they're literally left trying to plug gaps through social media. They've opened themselves wide open to criticism, and rightly so, especially after calling these graphics photorealistic. It's just so disappointing. It's actually going to take a miracle to rebuild the trust with the community, and they're going to have to pull something out of the bag in August to get players back on side. Now that you've had time to digest all the latest info, I want to know how you guys are feeling. Is it any better knowing there's a Master League in the game, albeit around January or February if the rumours are to be true? And now that the graphics are scale based on the platform, how do you feel about that? Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye bye.